Students, today we will deal with your in-text question as well as the some exercise question answers. Here I have not given you the answer which is in one word, and the MCQ I have not included in this video. So you have to do that questions on your own. So let's start. What is our first question? That is, we are having why sodium is kept immersed in your kerosene oil. Why we are putting kerosene in your sodium metal? Because to prevent the reaction with the oxygen. So sodium is highly reactive, so it is kept immersed in kerosene oil to prevent the reaction of oxygen, as it will prevent the moisture, carbon dioxide of air, to prevent the accidental fires. Second question, which gas is produced when dilute hydrochloric acid is added to a reactive metal? Write a chemical reaction when iron reacts with dilute H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid. So here you are having the hydrogen gas will be produced when iron is reacting with your dilute sulfuric acid. So what is the reaction? Fe plus H2SO4, it will give you FeOSO4, that is ferrous sulfate, plus your hydrogen gas will get evolved, or it is getting produced. Next equation, write the equations for the reaction of iron with steam. Iron with steam. Steam means what? With water. Calcium and potassium with water. So three reactions you have to see. So let's see. Fe plus H2O, it will give you the formation of Fe3O4, that is iron 2 or 3 chloride oxide, plus hydrogen gas is getting evolved. Same reaction will take place with help of your calcium as well as your potassium. It will give you the formation of calcium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide. So hydrogen gas is getting evolved, or it is getting produced in these reactions. Next question, what would you observe when zinc is added to the solution of iron 2 sulfate, that is ferrous 2 sulfate? Find the chemical reaction that takes place. So what is about the zinc? Zinc is also the more reactive, but it is more reactive than iron. Therefore, when it is added to the solution of iron 2 sulfate, the greenish color of iron 2 sulfate fades gradually due to the formation of colorless zinc sulfate solution, and iron metal is deposited on zinc metal. So what is the reaction in between them? FeSO4, that is ferrous sulfate, that is nothing but iron 2 sulfate, also you can write, plus zinc, it will give you the formation of zinc sulfate, that is ZnSO4, plus your iron will get deposited on your zinc metal. Next question, write the electron dot structure for sodium, oxygen and magnesium. Show the formation of Na2O and MgO by the transfer of electrons. What are the ions present in these compounds? This question I have told you when we have taken this session. You have to do on your own. I don't know whether you have done or not. Let's see. Of sodium, we are having atomic number 11. So 2 at 1 will be the electronic configuration. In last valence, how many electrons are present? 1. So only we will put one dot over the head of the sodium metal. Next is your oxygen. Oxygen is having atomic number 8. So 2 6 will be its electronic configuration. Here they have given you wrong. So only 2 6 means how many electrons will need to complete its octet? He will require 6 electrons. He will donate that 6 electrons instead of taking 2 electrons. So 6 electrons we can put on the oxygen. Then magnesium 12, that is 2 at 2. 2 electrons he will donate. So 2 electrons are present in outermost shell. So how many electrons we will represent on magnesium? 2. On oxygen, outermost shell, 6 electrons. So 6 electrons we are representing. Then in sodium, 1 electron in its outermost shell, we are representing 1 dot. So this is, we are calling it as a electron dot structure. Next, in case of Na2O and Mg2O, how the formation is. Na2O, obviously the most 2 molecules of your Na will be there. So how, see how they have shown you, plus oxygen. Oxygen, again only 1 molecule of oxygen, so we are writing as a O. How many electrons are there in last valence shell? 6 electrons. 1 2 3 4 5 6 they have shown you. So 1 electron will get transferred over 1 pair of electron towards oxygen, and from another sodium metal, one electron will get transferred to the another metal or another electron which is unpaired in the oxygen. So here you will get the formation of Na2 O. Likewise, they have shown you. In case of Mg2O, Mg we are having 12, that is 2 electrons will get transferred directly towards the oxygen. You will have the formation of Mg2 or MgO. In Na2O, ions are present are Na plus and O2 minus. In MgO, ions present are Mg2 plus O2 minus. Next question, why do ionic compounds have high melting points? What are the ions present in these compounds? The ionic compounds are made of positive as well as negative ions. There is a strong force of attraction between the oppositely charged ions. So, a lot of heat energy is required to break this force of attraction and melt the ionic compound. Due to this, ionic compounds have high melting point. So they are having strong force of attraction, due to which they are having the high melting point, and they are made up of your positive and negative ions. Next, define the terms mineral, ore and gangue. So what is mineral? The natural materials in which the metal or their compounds are found in earth are called as minerals. What is ore? Those minerals from which the metals can be extracted conveniently and profitably are called as ores. And what is gangue? The unwanted impurities like sand, rocky material, limestone, mica, etc. and ore is called as gangue. Next question, what chemical process is used for obtaining a metal from its oxide? So metal from metal oxide, this reaction already we have seen. So which process we are using? We are using the reduction process. For example, zinc oxide is reduced to metallic zinc by heating with the carbon. So ZnO, that is zinc oxide plus carbon, it will give you the formation of zinc plus carbon monoxide gas, CO it is there. Besides carbon, highly reactive metals like sodium, calcium, aluminium are also used as reducing agent. These displace metal of low reactivity from their oxide. That is Fe2O3 ferric oxide plus 2 aluminium will give you the formation of Fe plus Al2O3, that is aluminium oxide. Then next question. If you are given a hammer, a battery, a bulb, a wire and a switch, how could you use them to distinguish between samples of the metals and the non-metals? Assess the usefulness of this test in distinguishing between the metals and the non-metals. So let us see. Metals can be beaten into thin sheets with a hammer without breaking. Non-metals cannot be beaten with a hammer to form thin sheets. Non-metals break into pieces when hammered. Metals are malleable while non-metals are non-malleable. Metals are connected into circuit using a battery, bulb, wire, switch. Current passes through the circuit and the bulb will glow. When non-metals like sulfur are connected, the bulb does not light up at all. Metals are the good conductor of the electricity. So just here you have to mention what is the difference between the properties of your metals and the non-metals. Second, that is because of the malleability, metals can be casted into sheets. Metals are good conductors of electricity, so this can be used for electrical cables. Next question, this is the important question. What are amphoteric oxides? Give 2 examples of amphoteric oxide, or how the question will come in exam. Write chemical reactions or equations that show aluminium oxide reacts with acid as well as with base. Those metal oxide which show basic as well as acidic character or behavior, they are known as amphoteric oxides. In other words, metal oxides that react with both acid as well as base to form salt and water, they are called as amphoteric oxides. Aluminium oxide and zinc oxide are amphoteric in nature. Reactions are Al2O3 plus 6HCl, it will give you the formation of aluminium trichloride, that is AlCl3 plus water. Then Al2O3 plus NaOH, that is base, it will give you the formation of NaOH, that is sodium aluminate plus water. About zinc oxide plus hydrochloric acid, it will give you the formation of zinc chloride plus water. When it will react with base NaOH, it will give you the formation of sodium zincate, that is Na2ZnO2 plus water as a byproduct. So next part we will see in the next video. Thank you dear children.